Today, the United States military continues to carry out large-scale combat operations in Iran. This was our last best chance to strike what we're doing right now and eliminate the intolerable threats posed by this sick and sinister regime.
Welcome back to Inside City Hall, where we are keeping our focus on the war with Iran, as U.S. and Israeli military operations against that country are continuing for a third straight day. President Trump did not commit to a hard timeline, but said that airstrikes could continue for more than a month in his goal for regime change in that country of roughly 93 million people. Here to explain what is going on and what comes next is Professor Emeritus of History at Baruch College and the author of A History of Modern Iran. Ervand Abrahamian is with us. Good evening, Professor. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. As far as you're concerned, is this a turning point in history? Is the decapitation of the regime, meaning the killing of the supreme leader, a turning point, or is an interruption in what is going to be a continuing face-off between the U.S. and Iran?
It'll be just a bump, because, I mean, the avowed reason for the war is change of regime. And to have a change of regime, you have an alternative to replace the present regime. And there is no basically organized opposition to take over. In fact, the regime is, I think, strong enough to survive with the loss of the leader. It's a highly bureaucratized regime. They've institutionalized authority, and they've already announced basically the next people to lead the state. It's a despicable state, but it's a very, I would say, organized and quite a rational state.
Well, yeah, and Professor, when Donald Trump said that the Revolutionary Guard, the military, the police should lay down their arms, my immediate question was, who would they be surrendering to? Is there an organized opposition that wants to or is prepared to at least attempt to try and step in?
No, there is no organized. I mean, there are people in the diaspora who claim that the son of the last Shah is ready to take over, but he doesn't have an organization you can say it can take over. And also, I mean, it's sort of pure fantasy. The Revolutionary Guards are very ideologically committed. They have blood in their hands. They've killed a lot of people in the last month. For them to actually lay down arms would be suicide. So there's no way they could, you can send a message and they would disarm. They have actually good reason to fight to the last.
So internally, it sounds like things may not change. Let's look externally. Iran struck several countries with retaliatory strikes, including cities like Dubai that had always been considered safe and maybe even off limits. How is the regional tension going to affect the outcome of all of this?
Well, there's been a lot of concern that how Iran would affect and harm the neighboring countries. I think that's exaggerated. I don't think that's a crucial issue. The real issue is how you're going to actually get rid of the regime, replace it. They can, even if Iran does not carry out major damage to the neighbors, U.S. is still, and Israel is still left with the problem. There is this regime. They don't like it. They have no way of really getting rid of it unless they want to invade the country and have boots on the ground. And that's not, I don't think, feasible. So we're in a quagmire. Trump could declare victory any day and come home, but the problem is going to be there. The regime is not going to disappear.
Yeah, when I think back to past years, and as a historian, I know you're much more schooled in this, but there used to be a lot of subversion that was done by the United States, and it involved spycraft, it involved funding opposition, it involved dropping propaganda through many different means, and none of that seems to be here. Regime change through dropping bombs, I'm just not aware of any time at any phase of history where that has succeeded.
I think the word regime, the phrase regime change is a substitute for coup d'etat. In the good old days, U.S. had the military all over the place. They had trained the various militaries. They had equipped them, financed them, and all they had to do is you give a green light, and you could have a Pinochet, or in Iran, of course, the 1953 coup. But that doesn't apply at the present situation. The military in Iran are the Revolutionary Guards, and they're highly ideologically committed. They were the creation of the revolution of 1979. They're ideologically fanatical, and there's no way they're going to basically supplant the regime. Even if they did that, actually, for U.S. and Israel, it would be a worse situation having a bunch of Revolutionary Guards actually fully in control of the state.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask next. There's a lot of politics within that state that we're just not aware of, different factions that are fighting for control and so forth. Assuming that it's a continuation of the old regime, is there going to be any sort of even 5% difference in how they regard opening up to the West or dealing with their own people? I mean, all of those protests that we saw in recent months, I assume that the successor regime is going to want to either make that go away or make some kind of concessions.
Well, the previous regime, I mean, the Khamenei, who was killed, was willing to make for concessions. So I think the concessions Israel and the United States wants are so drastic that anyone associated within the regime is not going to be able to accept them. So if it was basically concessions they were looking for, Obama got wonderful concessions. I mean, the agreement there was actually very actually satisfactory. People who denounced it as that it was a disaster hadn't read the documents. But if U.S. was concerned about Iran having nuclear weapons, there was no way Iran could get nuclear weapons with the agreement that Obama had.
And to the extent that the bombing campaign continues, is there a possibility that there'll be a loss of support for what the United States and Israel are doing right now?
Well, there isn't much support. Internationally, of course, there's very little support. And this is not a popular, basically, war in the United States. I think the more it continues, you're going to have disasters. Like the other day, some 100 schoolgirls were blown up in their school. These type of disasters are not going to go well down with the American public, and of course, much worse in the international public.
Okay. We will continue to monitor all of this. Thank you so much, Professor Abrahamian. Great talking with you.
Thank you for having me.